Welcome back to Control and Coordination Part 3. In this video, we shall discuss control and coordination in plants. In the previous videos, we learned that animals have a nervous system for coordinating all the activities in their body. But plants neither have a nervous system nor muscles. So then how do they respond to stimuli? So the movement in plants is coordinated by chemicals known as hormones. We shall learn about these hormones later in this chapter. So first let us learn about the plant movements. So there are two types of plant movements, tropic movements and nastic movements. The tropic movements are dependent upon the growth and they are directional movements, but they are very slow, while the nastic movements, they are independent of growth and they are non-directional and they are very quick. First, let us learn about the nastic movements in detail. So, nastic movements are of two types, seismonasty and photonasty. Seismonasty are the movements in response to touch. For example, when we touch the leaves of touch me not or mimosa pudica or a sensitive plant, then they immediately droop and fold up, as you can see in this animation. Second, photonasty. So these are the non-directional movements of the plant parts in response to sunlight. For example, opening of the petals of dandelion plant in the morning and closing of the petals in the evening. This is an example of photonasty movements. Now let us understand that how does these nastic movements happen. So how do the plants detect touch and how do the leaves move? So first, the information that a touch has happened must be communicated. So plants use electrical and chemical means to convey this information from cell to cell. The plant cells change the amount of water in them, resulting in their swelling and shrinking. This swelling and shrinking of the cells results in changing their shape and thus causing movement. So now let us learn more about the tropic movements. So environmental triggers or stimuli such as light, gravity, water, touch and chemicals are responsible for these tropic movements. And tropic movements are of two types. They can either be towards this stimulus, and such a tropic movement is known as positive tropism, or they could be away from the stimulus and such a movement is known as negative tropism. Now let us discuss about the various types of tropic movements on based of their stimuli. So the 5 types of tropic movements on basis of the stimuli causing them are phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, hydrotropism and thigmotropism. First, phototropism. So it is the movement of a part of a plant in response to light. And the example of phototropism is that the shoots of plants bend towards light and the roots of plant bend away from light. So in this example, the shoots show positive tropism as they are bending towards the stimulus, and the roots show negative tropism as they are bending away from the stimulus. Second, geotropism. So it is the movement of a part of a plant in response to pull of earth or gravity. And the example of this type is that roots of a plant grow downwards while the shoots of the plant grow upwards, that is away from the earth. Third, chemotropism. So it is the movement of a plant part in response to chemical stimulus. For example, growth of pollen tube towards the ovule during fertilization in the flower. So during fertilization, certain chemicals are released in the ovule and the pollen tube grows towards these chemicals. Thus, this is a beautiful example of chemotropism. Fourth, hydrotropism. So it is the movement of a plant part in response to water. For example, bending of the roots towards water. Fifth, thigmotropism. So it is the movement of a plant part in response to contact with the foreign object. So when a plant part comes in contact with a foreign object, then if it shows some movement, then it comes under thigmotropism. For example, pea plant climbs on a support by means of its tendrils which are sensitive to touch. When the tendril comes in contact with the support, it circles around that object and clings to it. So clinging of the tendrils of a pea plant to a support is an example of thigmotropism. So let's summarize all these tropic movements. So response to light is known as phototropism. Response to gravity is known as geotropism. Response to chemicals is known as chemotropism. Response to water is known as hydrotropism. And response to some clinging because of some support, it is known as thigmotropism. So now the question that arises in our mind is that what is the cause of these tropic movements? And the answer to this question is plant hormones. So let's study more about these plant hormones in order to answer this question. So control and coordination in plants is done by the chemicals known as plant hormones. The major plant hormones are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins and aspartic acid. First, auxins. So they are synthesized at the root, at the shoot tips, and they are responsible for all the tropic movements in the plants. They also help in the enlargement of cells. Second, gibberellins. So they help in the growth of stem. Third, cytokinins. They promote the cell division, and they are present. So they are present in greater quantity, in greater concentration in the areas where cell division is more prominent, such as the fruits and seeds. Fourth, abscisic acid. So it inhibits growth, and for example, it is responsible for the wilting of leaves in the plants. Now, after learning about these plant hormones, we can explain the cause of these tropic movements. So, phototropism is caused by the auxins. When one side of a plant is exposed to light, auxin diffuses towards the shady side of the plant. Now, this concentration of auxin in the shady side of plant stimulates the cells on the shady side to grow longer. And thus the plant bends towards the light, in the direction of light, as you can see in this animation. So with this, we come to the end of this chapter. If you liked the video, please subscribe and like it. Thank you.